What is up, everybody? Sorry for the late video tonight. I tried to make a different video and it didn't work. So one of the things about making these videos is I want to make them as good and concise and clean for everybody. So I've already practiced most of the decks that I show you. I've already talked about them a few times on stream usually, gotten the low from, you know, the person who made it usually. But the video I tried to make earlier today didn't work, so I hope you enjoy this one. This is about the new Jund deck that just 5-0'd a competitive league 2 days ago. We played it a little bit during the 24-hour stream yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, you can check out the VODs, or you can just check me out live, twitch.tv/SamBall49 live every single day. But here we have an interesting Jund deck. So most of these decks lack 2-drops. Sometimes you can try Channeler Initiate. You can't really play Gifted Aetherborn because of the double black mana issue. There's no great red 2-drops that you really want to play in a deck like this. So you're either playing Channeler Servant, Servant of the Conduit, or nothing. We are playing nothing. We're playing Lightning Strikes, Abrades, Walk the Plank, and a one of Arguel's Bloodfast. So I think the reason for the Walk the Plank and the Arguel's Bloodfast is that you need stuff to do on turn 2. You want to be able to kill a Long Tusk Cub, which is why the Abrades and the Lightning Strikes. But there's, you know, you want to just be able to kill stuff on turn 2, and then on turn 4, because you have no 4-drops aside from Chandra and Vraska, because you have very little 4-drops here. On turn 4, sometimes you want to go double 2-drop, so sometimes you want to walk their 3-drop and then Abrade, or walk and Lightning Strike, or walk and push, or whatever. So you need to, so you want walk in here just as a versatile removal spell for 2 mana. Ranging Raptors is your acceleration, the 2 Bantu's Last Reckonings, and then the a million big spells. So what is this deck supposed to do? What is it good against? What is it bad against? Whatever. It's really, really good against Temur, I think. You can kill all their Long Tusk Cubs. You can block their Bristling Hydras, sort of. You can clear their stuff out of the way with Bantu's Last Reckoning game 1. They're not necessarily bringing in a ton of negates against you. And then you can fight through the Glory Bringers, right? You have your own Glory Bringers, you have Chandras, you have Noxious Gearhulk, you can fight through the Glory Bringers, and you have threats that they can't answer: Carnage Tyrant, Nissa, Vraska. So you have threats they can't deal with. You can beat the Whirler Virtuosos, you can beat the Bursting Hydras, and you can beat the Long Tusk Cubs. That's the entire thing you need to deal with it. Temur Energy. Now, the issue with Temur Energy is obviously that there's not one thing. Once you deal with the Long Tusk Cubs, how do you deal with the Whirler Virtuosos? Once you deal with the Whirler Virtuosos, how do you deal with the Chandras? Once you deal with those, how do you deal with the negates out of the sideboard? But this deck, I think, figures out a way to handle all of that. Now, what are we lacking? Because we're going so big to go over the top of Temur, we're lacking some early game. So our sideboard, 2 Chandra's Defeat, 2 Deathscourge Scavenger, 3 Gifted Aetherborn, is really trying to fight the mono red and red black aggro decks. Now, does it do this very effectively? I don't think so. I think it's like very mediocre in its effectiveness. But if we're beating Temur, and Temur's, you know, 30 to 40% of the metagame, especially live at a Grand Prix setting where most of, you know, people are playing competitive Magic, then I think it's worth it to have a positive win rate in that matchup, to have slightly negative win rate in the mono red matchup. Now, all these decks are going to be favored, I think, against blue-white. You have 4 Lost Legacies to get approach. They can't counter all of them. You have 3 Doomfalls. And you're able to side in enough creatures that you can get by them. How do we beat blue-black? Similar way. But basically, we just side in a bunch of creatures. We try to exile their gods and rip apart their hand with Doomfall and gain some card advantage with Arguel's Bloodfast. That's the entire way we beat them. Can you do it? Yes. Are you favored? It's probably 50-50 without duress. It's probably better with duress. But because you need to hedge so much against blue-white, and because you need to hedge so much against aggro, it's kind of hard to fit the duresses in there. So, what do I think about this deck? It's currently my favorite deck, the favorite deck for me to play at Grand Prix Warsaw when I'm there in 2 weeks. I think this is going to be it. I'm very excited about it. I think Ranging Raptors has been overperforming. There's a previous version of this deck with Channeler Initiate that I was playing. I might go back to Channeler. I think I liked it slightly better, but Ranging Raptors is sick and no one's expecting it. The reason Ranging Raptors is so good is because everyone's playing red removal. Harness Lightning, Lightning Strike, Abrade. Everyone's playing red removal. And so you either block their cards or it gets removed, and then you get a ramp, and then it's fantastic. So I like this deck. We're going to run it through a few paces. Stick with me for round number 1, coming up next.